Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to this project, which is a mini album using Stamperia Atelier des Arts, and it is a design team project or a design project for Scrap and Create, and you can get all your supplies there. I'll have a link down below, and there's a link down below also for a cutting guide for this project. We have already pretty much finished the pages, at least basically. They're all made and matted. We still have embellishing and other things to do, but those are done. And we made the cover last time. So we're going to make our hinge, and we're going to put the pages in the cover. So let's go ahead and do that. Let me set these aside. I mentioned there's a cutting guide. So the measurements for all of this will be in the cutting guide, but this is 10.5 by 8 3/8. Put this in your scoreboard, score it at 2.5, and then every ½ inch until you get to 8. And then on the side with the divots, you want to, starting at this side, starting at your right, put a piece of 3/8 inch score tape in that first little section, skip 2 sections, score tape, skip 2, score tape, skip 2, score tape. Turn it over. In the first one, you're going to put 1/4 inch tape very close. There's there's a score line and then another score line, so you have a space, and you want this close to the left side, close to this score line. And then in the very next section, put a piece of 1/4 inch score tape, but this time more to the right. So you're trying to keep them away from the outer lines. Skip one, do a pair, skip one, do a pair, skip one, do a pair. If you need more detail of how to do that part, I do have a tutorial on how to make a hinge, but don't go any further than what you see here, because we're going to do a lay flat, and that's not covered in that video. Okay, so on this side, actually before I take that off, so we're going to fold over. Alright, and this is what I just folded is the second score line, so to the left of the tape. Pull that off. Pull this back, and now I'm pulling it back on that first score line. And pull it up. So as you can see, we've created a vertical hinge. And it has tape on either side up near the top. So that was the purpose of centering those two pieces of tape like that. Okay. And do the next one. The more you work these hinges, the more freely they're going to turn in your book. Okay, that's 3. This will be the last one. that looks good. Okay, now I'm gonna throw these away and get a couple of other supplies. I'll be right back. Okay, so we are doing a floating, a lay flat hinge. So this is going to be floating. And I like to put a little piping at the top and bottom. And they actually make special piping just for this, but I'm going to assume you don't have any of that, so we're not going to use that. What I've got here is just a baker's twine, and I'm going to wrap it in, I hope this is black and not blue. I brought this in case this was not black. It is black. Whew, relief. Okay, so I'm going to use some black seam binding. Now, if you don't have black seam binding, and actually I could even do it with this, you could use the same fabric that you use to make your tie to close the book. And maybe I will, because then I can make it bigger and it's easier to handle. I think I will. All right, hang on. Let me put that aside. So I'm not going to use it. Oops. All right. So what I'm going to, I don't need very much of it. So one length of this would be plenty. So I'm just going to cut it so that I have a fairly wide piece to work with, because I can trim it down after. Okay, if you don't have that, then certainly use whatever you have. This has little holes in it. Looks like it was stapled. That's fine. All right, so all we need to do with this, and if you have a sewing machine, use your sewing machine. And I do, but I don't feel like digging it out, and I have no guarantee that you have one. So I'm going to use glue. And I think the easiest way to go about this, get this out of the way before I get glue all over it, is, and I'm just going to cut this because I don't need it to be still attached to that. I'm going to take my Fabri-Tac and I'm just going to run a bead of Fabri-Tac approximately down the middle of this piece of fabric, give or take. Oops. And then I'm going to lay this piece of string on top of it, like that. Okay. And then, and again, you could buy piping. You could leave this off entirely if you want. Or you can use your sewing machine. I am just running some glue, probably up to maybe a ½ inch or so away from where we put the string. Just, you only have to put it on one side. Then we're going to fold it over, and you want the string to end up right along the edge there. And again, this is, just buy some black piping if you don't want to deal with this, or leave it off. And I'm just burnishing this so I have a good piece of sort of piping right there at the top. Call that piping. If you don't sew, that's what that is. Okay. All right. So let's let that dry for a minute. It doesn't take too long. And while that's drying, we're going to need 2 more pieces of paper. So we're going to I'm going to put a piece of Tyvek right in this area. It's not necessary. You could use fabric if you prefer. I just think this is going to be holding the whole weight of the book. It's not going to be glued down. It's really going to be floating. And I think the idea of having a little Tyvek there is just a good idea. Let me find mine. What's the matter, baby? Okay, so here's my Tyvek. I just bought a new pack. I just get this from Amazon. I'm pretty sure I have it linked below. If you get a Tyvek envelope in the mail, you could use that. Although, well, yeah, we're going to cover it, so it'll be fine. That's another sheet. And so we're going to attach this here. Then we're going to put our piping, and then we're going to add another piece of black over it, just so that to make it look neat. So I want a piece of Tyvek 3 inches wide, and I want it a little shorter than this, 3 by 8 1/8. Okay, it may be a little crooked because it slipped. What's that? That's good. Now, putting this down. Here comes the cat. I do not want to put glue or adhesive in any of these 4 seams. No. Yeah, sorry, she's headed for my computer where I'm recording sound. Okay, so I'm going to use score tape in between each of those. And actually, you could probably have put this down before you folded everything up. Probably be easier. This is 3/8 inch. 2. 3. Okay. And you want to make sure when you're doing this that you don't end up with any adhesive over the edges of the spine. You won't be able to hide it. Okay, so then that'll be fine, and then I will put, really a 1/4 would do, but I don't have that much 1/4, so I'm going to use 3/8. So I'm going to put 1 more on each side. And then I'm going to put 1 on each side of my Tyvek. Tyvek is house wrap. If you know anybody in the construction business, they might be able to bring you some scraps. And this step is optional. I think it's a good idea, but it's optional. And where's my... This is not going to be seen. Well, I didn't do that very neatly, so it's a good thing it's not going to be seen. Wrinkly, but you should be able to burnish it out. Okay, so that's that. We're going to cover that after. And just play with those a little bit. Okay, that's good. now, our piping. So I need this piece just needs to be the length a 1/2 inch before this fin and a 1/2 inch after this fin. So actually we could probably measure it, make sure we're reasonably accurate. That's 2.5. So just the width of the spine. That makes sense. That's what it should be. Alright, so I'm just going to, I think that's still wet, so cutting through it with these scissors, but these scissors are a hot mess, so okay. And then 2.5, take me to about there. There's that one. And that one. And then we don't need this much fabric. Anybody who sews will tell you cutting fabric with paper scissors is not fun usually. Okay, and I'll probably come back at some point. I don't have one handy if you don't think. Let me see. Yeah. I was going to say, and just use a little black marker to darken the ends of the baker's twine. I don't know if you can see. Just like that. Okay, and then I'm going to take a little bit of art glitter glue and just put a tiny dot on the ends just to prevent fraying or the baker's twine from coming out. I tried to do that one on camera so you could see, so of course it was too big a dot, but you can just pat it, it dries clear. Okay. Now I've got some glue here sticking up, and I'm also going to use a little Fabri-Tac. And don't take your Fabri-Tac way out here, because remember, this is only going to go a 1/2 inch beyond. And then you're going to put this down such that the part with the cording in it is sticking up just a hair over the edge, and I'm curving it a little as I do it because that's how it's actually going to end up. And then you can press it down. That's still a little white there, that's just the glue. That'll dry clear. Okay, I'm sure there's neater ways to do that, but that's how I'm doing it. And again, I don't want to be more than 1/2 inch from any of these outer fins. Okay. Do this one. Okay, go. All right, that needs to dry for a few minutes. Okay, so then the last thing we need to do before we attach this into the book is put another piece of black on top to hide this. Now, if this part's sticking out a little bit from my black, it's fine because this is going to be glued down into the book, just about where this fabric starts and ends. So you don't need a huge piece. I'm just gonna, because I cut this the wrong size. I mean, I didn't cut it the wrong size. I cut it the right size, but I didn't center it. I guess that's the word I'm looking for. I could cut it the same size, 3 inches. And I'm going to cut this just a hair bigger. So I'm going to cut this 3 by 8. Well, that's 3 by 8 1/16 because it slipped when I was cutting it. This is, the total is 3 by 8 3/8. I'll do 3 by 8 1/4, see how that does. And the only purpose to this is to hide that white. Yeah, that's actually going to be just fine. And I think that I will use, what will I use for that? Score tape, or do I want to use glue? There's no weight on this, it's strictly decorative. But I want to use something flexible, so I think I'll use score tape. So let me get a piece, a big piece. Okay, use that. I always cut these a little bit smaller, just so they don't hang out. And that's fine. Can always add a little glue if I need it, but I think that'll be fine. Because the edges of this are not going to be visible. Okay. See if I can get this a little bit flat to put this down. And I'm just putting this right under the piping. And that's perfect. Okay, I'm just going to turn it over, score it, burnish it from this side. These are extra steps, but they just make your book look a little more polished, a little more neatly done. Okay, now we have a spine, and you can play with this a little to give it a bit of a curve. Like I'm doing, because that is what it's going to have in the end. Now, you want to put this in the book. So here's the book. Here is the hinge mechanism. Right, and this is going to be centered. And you can use your piping, because that should go from side to side and fill the what's the word I'm looking for? Fill the spine. You'll notice mine is slightly lower. It's not perfectly centered top to bottom, and that's because I didn't perfectly center this top to bottom, and I'm going to line mine up with that. I just think it looks neater, and I'm okay with that. I'm just checking fit before I add any adhesives. All right, so what we're going to do, actually, as long as I've got this where it's going, let me, it's pretty good right there. Where's my pencil? Just draw a line. Okay. We are going to attach it to the book. And I'm going to stop about 1/4 inch away from here, from where it bends. So that is going to be, well, that's helpful. It's going to be about 1/4 inch away from your piping. And if you have wider score tape, you should definitely use it. I am almost out of my wider sheets, so I'm just going to use this. You want to make sure you fully, you don't have any gaps here. And that's more than I want. So I'm just going to lift the back of this tape up. With a tool. And then I'm going to use 1/4 inch that overlaps that slightly. Still feel like I put my tape down crooked because I need a little more right there, I think. Well, we'll see. I can always use glue if I need it. Okay. And then on this side, I might need a little glue right there. Let's do the same. So I'm lining mine up. Let me slide this up so you can see. With the bottom of this piece of paper and the line that I drew there. And that should give me a pretty good fit into the book. Pulling off the back of the tape. And I left this, I'm just doing this side. Yikes. Let's pick it up a little because I put it down a little short. Okay, so that's sticking up a little right there, but I am okay with that really because this is going to be matted, so that'll be covered, and this side's okay. I don't know if I put it down crooked or what. Whoops. anything? Just checking. I have a, yeah, that's there. Okay, make sure it's flat. There we go. All right. Yeah, that's fine. Here it's fine. Here it's sticking up a little bit. That's going to be covered by a mat. So I am good with that. I have no problem. And let us burnish this. Now this is not where I was just running my bone folder. That's not actually attached into the book, but I still want to give it a little burnish because it is going to bend. So let's see. It takes a little training sometimes. Perfect. See how we get a nice curve? The combination of the Tyvek and the piping is what's giving you that. That's nice. That is, I am really happy with that. Okay. And I've got the same on the bottom. Perfect. Okay. All right. Now, one thing you can do, and I didn't mention it because I don't usually do it, but when you do this kind of a hinge, because of that curve, the pages do sometimes stick out a little bit, and I'm okay with that because I have side pocket inserts and stuff, and I don't mind things coming out from the edge of the book. If you do, just make your covers wider. Okay, got rid of all those things. Got my glues. Let's get those out of the way, and let's get our pages. And I generally like to put mine in from back to front. Just double check. Yes, that is the back. And generally, oh, let me do a test fit before I do that. There's a lot going on here. I want to make sure I've got the actual opening. Oh, that's good. That's a good fit. Okay. If they're a little tight, just go ahead and trim your corners of your fins, and that'll take care of that. Now, we are not going to put these all the way down to the bottom. You want to leave them up a little bit, about 1/16 of an inch. Depending on how bulky your book is, you might do it all as much as 1/8. And I just want to make sure that I'm in the right spot. Especially when you have a waterfall, it's really easy to put the page in the wrong spot. You know, not in the opening. There we go. And then just turn it over. And because we're not putting our pages all the way down to the bottom, that's why we put this tape up higher. Now, if you put your pages all the way to the bottom, they won't turn. Okay, there we go. First page. And now we're going to do this one. And again, we are going to test fit to make sure everything, you know what, I'm just going to pull that out because that doesn't need to be in there. That's just an insert. That's good. Good fit. Lifting that up so it's not all the way down where I want it. And when you fold it over, just make sure it's, you know, reasonably lined up with the one next to it. And then, so I don't forget, put that in. Nice, nice, nice. Okay. This one's going to go like that. Again. I mean, it's easy to assume that because the first two fit, that the rest are going to fit, but I've had it not happen. So, test fit. Boy, this is turning out to be a pretty book. This paper is really pretty, so it's hard to go wrong. I have only ever made one book that I just didn't like. And you know, I had picked a paper that was outside my comfort zone. And I probably should have... I don't know if it was outside my comfort zone or it just wasn't really to my taste. I don't know why I picked it out, but it was something I got at the big box store. And I didn't even really finish it. I put the pages together, I put it in the book, and that was it. I didn't make any inserts. Nothing. I gave it to my niece because she said she liked it, and it was actually suitable for a little boy she has two of. So I'm sure that she did something great with it. All right, and then this one. Did I do this one backwards? People. I did. I did this one backwards. This is supposed to be page 1. But there's no way it's going to be page 1. This is going to be page 1. Okay, that's fine. Because I made it backwards. If you made yours backwards, which you must have if you followed the directions I gave you. But actually, I'm fine with that. Opening the page and seeing her is fine. And this easel will be fine here. Goes with that. Okay, we're good. It only took me, 3 days of working on this to notice that? Actually, that may not have been a bad mistake because she's pretty awesome to open the book and see. And then this will go like that. That'll be fine. Kind of goes with these. Perfect. Well, it is perfect. It's not what I intended, but it's still perfect. And you can see what I mean about the pages being pushed out when you close it. But when you open it, they're way in. So I'm perfectly fine with that. And this book is not going to have side pocket inserts that stick out. I forgot about that because of the way we made the pages. So they're just fine. Let's tie it and see what we think. And I think I'm separating out the loops of the bows so they're not nested right in each other and just make like a frou-frou thing. Cute. Cute. I'm happy. Okay. So we have got to do the inside, front, and back cover, all of our inserts, all of our embellishments, embellish the covers. So we have a little ways to go yet. I'm pretty sure I'll be doing a pocket on the inside back cover because we really don't have a horizontal pocket anywhere. We don't. So I'm going to put one here. Here I think I'm going to leave plain for a photo. That's my plan. And then on the front we're going to do some layered stuff on the front cover, and we may do some embellishment as well on the back cover. What am I running into? I'm running into something here. I'm not sure what. There it is. Okay. And I feel like I may go through, that's feeling a little loose. So I think I may go through with some of the Velo glue, Mod Podge, whatever, and put some more on the outside of this rice paper. Looking good. Okay, I think I'm going to call that done because that's a bit, between now and the next time I see you, I may go through and add some of the Velo glue just to make this a little, not here necessarily because on the front cover it's going to be covered, but on the spine and maybe on the back. Haven't decided. You'll see next time. All right, well, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to visit Scrap and Create to purchase your supplies. There is a link to a cutting guide for this project down below, and a link to Glassboard Studios with a discount code for this board, and to Amazon for some of my favorite products, including this metal gold that we're using. So I will see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.